Good morning, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the August 8th meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation, and that'll be offered by David Williamson, who is the co-founder of the Central Florida Free Thought Community, which is a local not-for-profit whose mission is to be an effective advocate for separation of state and church and to build a thriving secular community in the greater Orlando area. David is a proud father, stepfather, Navy veteran who first came to Orlando in 1991 to train at our formal Naval Training Center, which is now Baldwin Park. He now works in the field of occupational health and safety. He returned to the area in 2012 after he met and later married his wife, Jocelyn. Invocation will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance offered by Commissioner Hill. Today, you may stand or remain seated.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, and staff. I was thrilled to learn you proclaimed yesterday Equality Florida Day in celebration of their 2 decades of social justice work on behalf of LGBTQ Floridians. Congratulations to the volunteers, staff, and my fellow supporters of Equality Florida, and to everyone in the city who's made concerted efforts towards full equality. For it's only when we are treated equally by our government, by public charities, and by public accommodations that we can truly achieve a greatness that can be measured by all. It's my honor today to join the city with its continuing efforts at inclusion by offering a secular invocation. Through the millennia, we've learned the hard lesson that the best way to govern the people is for the people to govern themselves. Today in this tradition, we travel from our homes and businesses across the city to participate. Citizens, staff, and those elected, we all converge on this chamber to join as a community, united in the shared purpose of service to one another. We each arrive today as individuals, all with unique ideas and experiences, but all with needs of many types as well. Citizens request assistance and collaboration with the city. They offer their concerns, and we're grateful for their courage to speak and their trust in this process. And those needs will be met by others, those who have the need to serve. Staff provides invaluable expertise, and we truly appreciate their continued work on our behalf. Elected officials listen, deliberate, debate, and decide the path forward for the people of Orlando and our cherished visitors. We can never offer our thanks enough for that thankless task. When we leave this chamber today, let us carry with us the same spirit of service and goodwill today, tomorrow, and every day that follows. For together, we can accomplish far more than we can on our own. This is why, and this is how, we decided to assemble, to serve, and to govern ourselves. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz? Here. Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Ings?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's take that for consideration. The minutes of the workshop
So
and
moved.
and
Second.
council meetings of July 24th. Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, we have one presentation today, and I'm going to call on Lisa Early to introduce members of the Braves Rowing Club, Inc.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer and Commissioners. So in 2011, the city entered into an agreement with Braves Rowing, Inc., which is the crew program at Boone High School to use the lake and lakefront and clubhouse at Bill Frederick Park at Turkey Lake to run their rowing program. It has been an amazing, great partnership and has become a tradition every year for the rowing club to come up here to thank City Council and speak briefly about the program. So at this time, I'm going to ask Coach Tom Lineberry from Braves Rowing to come up and speak briefly. I'm going to also ask Quincy Richardson to stand with me at the podium as well. He is the manager of Bill Frederick Park at Turkey Lake. So, Mr. Lineberry and Mr. Richardson.
Good afternoon. I'm Coach Tom Lineberry. I'm a retired school teacher on Orange County Public Schools, 36 years. We're here today on behalf of Boone Crew. I would like to thank the city for your great support. We've been rowing on Turkey Lake, Bill Frederick Park, since about 2000 or 1999 in that era. I would like to thank Quincy and his staff. Quincy and Naomi have been an outstanding partner at Turkey Lake. And the staff at Turkey Lake, the grounds crew, through everybody else, has been fantastic. We really do appreciate all their help and their support every year down there. Bill Frederick Park has been a rowing hub since the mid-'70s. The park has hosted state, local, and national competitions on the lake. Last year, there were 6 major events held on Turkey Lake, with the average of about 27 clubs who attend every Saturday to use the great park. That comes out to be about 5,500 athletes who visited the park the last season, which is the school year. And from that 5,500, there were from Jacksonville to Miami to Sarasota and all their parents. So you can see it's a nice little economic impact to the area around Turkey Lake there. So we always love to come to the lake. I invite all of you to come and join us. We'll take you out in a boat. We'll take you out in my coaching launch, or come out and visit one of the races, and you'll see how fantastic this sport is. So again, Boone Crew would like to thank you, and Braves Rowing Inc. would also like to thank you, and thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask members of the crew to come on up for photos. Going to ask Mayor Dyer to come down, as well as Commissioner Ings, in whose district is Turkey Lake Park, and Commissioner Sheehan, in whose district is Boone High School. Please come down for photos. Thank you.
And Commissioner Ings is a Boone grad.
Hear that?
Congratulations. I had 3 nieces and a nephew. Yeah. One wrote a Boone.
Okay, that's the fewest presentations I think we've had in a long time. Okay, let's then move to the mayor's update. So I want to start with acknowledging that 2 of the commissioners up here are going to be a whole year older in the next week and a half. Commissioner Hill's birthday is on August the 15th, and she turns 39.
You're right.
And Commissioner Ortiz's birthday is on August the 18th, and I know that they're going to turn back around and tell you that, and yesterday was my birthday, so August is a good month for birthdays among the Orlando City Council. So why don't we?
Good day for birthday, bad
you.
day for singing, but here we go.
Okay. I've never asked people to sing happy birthday to me, so I'm going to ask you to sing happy birthday to Commissioner Hill and Commissioner Ortiz, and I'll join in as well. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lord. Happy birthday to you.
Deputy Chief Orlando Rolon also has a birthday.
Okay, that counted for Deputy Chief Orlando Rolon, too.
All right.
Georgina will sing it in Spanish. later on, right? And it just happened, I told council earlier this morning, it was a big birthday for me. It didn't have a 0 behind it, it has a 9. But my father and grandfather both died at 58, so I've now lived to be 59. So I'm the longest, oldest male in my family in 3 generations.
There you go. Wow.
And I'll tell the young ones out there, my dad smoked 3 packs of Lucky
Yep.
Strikes, and you may not know what those are, but they were unfiltered cigarettes back in the day. So you got a better chance of living a long life if you don't smoke cigarettes. So there was my public announcement this morning.
Or being mayor.
Yeah, or being mayor. That's right. Okay, and I'm going to stay on the good news side of things for a little bit. The City of Orlando has been selected by the OBJ as one of Central Florida's 2017 healthiest employers for our innovation and leadership on all of our wellness programs. And it's a testament to our commitment to the health of our employees. Our healthy employees benefit the community and our workforce as a whole, and this is the 5th year in a row that we have been one of the healthiest employers. So thank you to all the city employees who participate in those programs. I'm going to go to the consent agenda now, and I'm going to highlight just a couple of things. The first one, Commissioners, I want to take a moment once again to honor 2 local fallen law enforcement heroes, and that's Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton and Orange County Sheriff's Deputy First Class Norman Lewis, both who lost their lives tragically earlier this year. The state legislature helped us in honoring their lives by designating a portion of 2 Orange County roads in their names. The portion of Silver Star Road between John Young and Pine Hills will now be known as Lieutenant Deborah Clayton Memorial Highway, and the portion of Pine Hills Road between Silver Star and 50 will be known as Deputy First Class Norman Lewis Memorial Highway. Lieutenant Clayton began her career with OPD on May 13, 1999, and was promoted to the rank of lieutenant posthumously by Chief Mina. Throughout her career, she was deeply involved in so many community initiatives. We honored her memory, and really we celebrated her memory during the course of the State of the City this year. Lieutenant Clayton's patrol squad is here, as well as members of Deputy Norman Lewis's squad. Would you guys all stand and please be recognized? And while they're standing, why don't we observe just a moment of silence for Lieutenant Clayton and Deputy Lewis. Thank you.
Mayor, is it possible for us to get a picture with them out front, you down there with them, and the council standing behind them?
Sure. Come on, if you guys would come to the front, please, and all members come down. Or, you know what, maybe it's easier for us to stay up here and them stand in front. Okay, earlier this year, the DDB, in cooperation with DAD, the Downtown Arts District, held our 4th annual Best of DTO photo contest, and it invited anyone to submit photos to showcase our downtown. I want to invite everyone to join us for the gallery opening and the winner reveal at the Gallery at Avalon on August the 17th from 6 to 9. There will be winners for Best in Show, Fan Favorite, and Best in Category will be announced at 7 p.m. And then the last thing is we move on to the consent agenda. During the agenda review meeting, we moved item A2, which is adopting the city's 100% renewable energy resolution to new business, so that a number of members of the public that would like to be heard on that issue will have that opportunity. So that will be right after the consent agenda. All right, the consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our council members an opportunity to update you quickly on important items from their district. Commissioner Ings.
I got it.
And also to comment as appropriate on items that are on the consent agenda. We rotate the order we do that, and Commissioner Hill is first up today.
Thank you, Mayor. But we do have an added treat. Our dear Commissioner Ortiz is going to do a snippet of happy birthday to you, Mayor, in Spanish.
Oh, no.
You promised.
It's almost like Marilyn Monroe singing to Kennedy here. What's up with that? I thought I was going to lead the effort, but not that I was going to sing to him back then. All right, let's do a quick one here. Happy birthday to the mayor. To you. Yeah, let's do the mayor. He sang to us. We're going to sing to him now.
You can do it by yourself.
No, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mayor Dyer. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Oh, my Lord.
So I have a few things on the consent agenda today, and that is on our second read, adopting 2017-39, where we will be moving forward with the Guardian Care ordinance of making sure that we have proper senior living over there on the west side of District 5 and our adult rehabilitation center and daycare center. So I will be voting yes on that. Also, it's in our minutes that we'll be approving for a new gastropub called The District there in the historic building on Church Street in Division. So I'm looking forward to that new economic development and real great five-star dining there in that Church Street corridor. And I'm also quite excited to see Officer Norm Lewis and Lieutenant Deborah Thomas honored. Many of you might know or might not know, she started an effort 2 years ago, which was a piece of crime prevention during the summer for youth. And she put a job program that was spearheaded by her and assisted by me and many others here in the city of Orlando. And I'm proud to report last week was the end of the summer, Deborah Thomas Summer Job Initiative, and we employed over 230 youth here in the city of Orlando and 130 in the Paramore area. So yeah, that's amazing. Her legacy continue. We're going to have a job fair. There is a new business that has moved to the Paramore area and has partnered with my office. And what they do is manufacture colored contact lenses. They're called Funky Eyes, and it's for the theaters and different entertainment arenas. And they're going to be hiring 30 people from out of the Paramore District 5 City of Orlando area, more so geared towards those that are unemployable, those that might be homeless or convicted felons. And so we'll be having a job fair at the Callahan Center on August 18th, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can call my office, 407-246-2005, for more information on that job fair. In the Pine Hills area, the community health centers are cordially invite you to attend the ribbon cutting and VIP open house event there in the Mercy Drive corridor, 840, and that will be from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Refreshments will be served, but they have a host of services that they're going to be providing for that corridor that has little to no medical care. We will be starting working with Orange Blossom Health Center for the Ivy Lane corner, but this one is up and running. They offer nephrology services, internal medicine, oncology, dental, just a host of different services when it comes to health and wellness. So I'm excited about that facility opening there in that Mercy Drive corridor. And through the mayor's leadership, thank you, sir, for your support. We're actively doing a Mercy Drive comprehension plan to target that specific area with services and seeing what the needs are, and that's one of the things that we plan on moving forward this next cycle in, is making sure that we focus on that Mercy Drive corridor. On Saturday, this past Saturday, through the assistance of Orlando Magic, Orlando City Soccer, Coca-Cola, A1 Orange, Adidas, and Nike tennis shoes, we were able to give 1,000 book packs and 500 pair of tennis shoes. A1 Orange gave at least $2,000 worth of undergarments to the children there in District 5. And we went on down to the Steps in the Right Directions at the fairground, where I partnered with the Sanctuary Church. They gave 1,000 kids tennis shoes and book bags. And then we went on to the Carver Shores corner, to where we were able to partner with those in the Metro West corner of District 5, where 300 kids were served. So I'm proud to say that through the partnerships, the generosity of those in the community, that over close to 3,000 kids in District 5 will be going back to school with undergarments, with the tools that they need when we talk about supplies. And not only that, we were able to partner with vendors that spoke about health and wellness, that spoke about tutoring, and also mentorship. So there were some partnerships created for families there to help them throughout the year with the children after we send them back to school. And I just want to say thank you to all the partners that we've had to help send these kids back to school well-equipped. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 6, Commissioner Raines.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say on Wednesday, July 26th, I attended the Carver Middle School sneak peek. And Carver Middle School is a brand new school that has been built. As a matter of fact, I attended Carver Junior High School when we called them junior high schools. You notice I didn't say when, but I did attend there. And School Board Member Kat Gordon was also on hand for this opening, and I am just so happy to see so much went into the new building and the campus at Carver Middle School. Comprehensive science labs in the classes. Each classroom has a lab. You don't have to go outside of the classroom to go to a science lab. So that's really good. Great reading programs as well. And it's just a fantastic facility. Still more to come because they're building the bus loop and more parking. But Carver Middle School is going to be a great school this upcoming school year. Also on Thursday, July 27th, I held the District 6 swim competition. And this was at the Frontline Outreach Neighborhood Center. Colonial Town was there, Frontline Outreach, as well as Dr. James R. Smith Center. All of these swim teams were there competing against one another. And I also had an opportunity to view the brand new gym at Frontline Outreach, thanks to the City of Orlando. That's a really big deal for the Frontline Outreach Center. On Monday, July 31st, I attended the sneak peek tour of West Point Elementary School, and Orange County Public School Board member Pam Gould was there on hand with lots of people from the community as well. West Point Elementary is a dual school to Metro West Elementary School. So they're two different schools on two different plots of property next to each other. So that's going to be really interesting, especially when the school opens. to see how we deal with the traffic issues in that particular area. And then also on Monday night, July 31st, I was the guest speaker for the Orange County Branch NAACP membership meeting that was held at the Village Square. Beverly Neal is the president of this organization. And Beverly Neal is with us today in the audience. I don't know if she's here for that, just to hear me say that, or if she's here for green energy. But thank you, Ms. Neal, for being here on today. Upcoming events, August 12th, next Saturday, I'm having the Crime Prevention Walk and Book Bag Giveaway. This walk begins at 9 a.m. at the Washington Shore Shopping Center. And so we're looking for all of the young people to come and be a part of our government and show your support against crime in our community. Those kids that walk with me, they would be the very first ones to get the book bags. And the following week, August the 19th, we'll have a District 6 Back to School Fun Spot Day at the Fun Spot America. So all of those kids that walk with me, their families that participated in the Crime Prevention Walk, will be able to go to Fun Spot, have lunch with me there, as well as enjoy Fun Spot all day long. And that's after their week of being in school for coming out and joining in the Crime Prevention Walk and Book Bag Giveaway. And then on August the 19th, coming up, is the second annual Shake It Off Health Expo Tour. And this kickoff will take place at the Walmart Center there at 1101 West Goldwyn Avenue in Orlando, Florida. So this Shake It Off is sponsored by Jimmy Williams, and I'm there to support him. This is a health initiative, and shaking off the pounds, and this is fun for the whole family. So Jimmy Williams, Drop D, No Limits Foundation is the sponsor of this event, and I'm there to support him. Also coming up on August the 19th is a free community health fair and back to school event, and I will be assisting Daniel Smith with his event here at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. And this will be wellness mission and for fun, healthy workouts for everybody. There will be free physicals, vision screening, hearing, financial health screening, glucose, cholesterol, dental screening, CPR, legal advice, haircuts, grooming, and then much more. So we're looking for some great things on August the 19th as well as August the 12th. And then coming up, the very last thing that I have, but very important, is the September 8th, 2017 Red Tie Celebrity Golf Extravaganza event. And this will be held at Shingle Creek Golf Course. For those of you that would like to spend a weekend out there, the room rates are $119, so you can certainly enjoy Shingle Creek. Our guest speaker for this event will be Lucille O'Neill. She's the mother of Shaquille O'Neal, and she will be on hand to greet us as well as to greet our golfers as we begin to play. Shotgun starts at 8 a.m., and we look forward to having all of you come out. And council members, you guys are invited to come. Just get a foursome. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 1, Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Activities in District 1 are on our website. I would like to make special mention. Last Thursday, we did our backpack giveaway for about 50 children at the Citrus Center Rec Center. And I want to thank my staff for helping with the logistics and thank the kids for participating, and I wish them luck going back to school. And tonight, I had my monthly meet and greet within the district, 6:30 to 7:30. Anybody like to come by and talk about anything on their mind, you're welcome to join me. I'd love to do that. Details are on the website. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Don't say it.
I'm sorry.
Don't say
Nothing.
it.
Okay.
Don't say it. just call
Some
them.
commissioners might drop by, they have some stuff they want to talk to you about.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
All right, let's move to District 2, Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyhow, today we're seeing A2, item A2 in the agenda. It's possibly one of the most exciting items we had around here in a long, long time, and I want to congratulate you, Mayor, and Chris Castro for your leadership on the effort and decision to make our city 100% renewable. That's a huge accomplishment we're looking for by 2050. I'm excited to see the changes coming up. I'm excited to see I'm excited of the things that have already happened, the things that we have already accomplished. And Mayor, I know that you are very proud of this particular accomplishment, but I have to say kudos to you, because when I compare, I travel to other countries, and when I see what we're doing, we have to be proud. And we're not only working in our city, but we're leaving legacy to our kids, and which it seems like not very many people are doing that around the world. But this is a commitment that should be embraced not only by our residents here, but all around the world, by every resident of the world. And I'm glad that the City of Orlando is taking a leadership role on this. So congratulations to you, Mayor, to the commissioners, to our staff, to our citizens, to all of those embracing our community and embracing what we're doing here at the City of Orlando in terms of sustainability. And along those lines, I had the pleasure to visit our Iron Bridge facility last week, and I met with a group of people that are in charge of the quality of our reclaimed water and learning about the rigorous and efficient process that our team uses to purify our reclaimed water. And I was, Rick, those guys are doing a superb job. Let me see if I have some of their names. Christina Fries, Lisa Rain, David Bass, Paul Jewell, Mark Season, I call him Mr. Bob, the guy in charge. Theodore Roosevelt, he looks just like him. They're doing a great job over there, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of this knowledge at this fall's upcoming Government Academy. We're going to add that segment to our Government Academy so people see also. I know the mayor already has it in his Mayor Academy, but we want to add that to what we're doing in terms of teaching our community about how our city works. I want to thank Orange County School Board District 2 Representative Darrell Flynn and Ms. Darrell Flynn and Englewood Elementary Principal Mr. Alex Reyes for their excellent job in leading the effort during the time of construction of the new Englewood Elementary School while maintaining our community abreast of what was going on. Great leadership. The new school, located just west of our Englewood Neighborhood Center, will foster academic leadership for generations to come. It's a pretty neat school, and what I like best is now how, since they're adjacent next to each other, how easier it's going to be to handle our kids moving from one school to the neighborhood center to take advantage of the programs that we as a city offer to them, after school programs. And the new school year is just around the corner, and we wanted to make sure that the children in our community were well equipped for a successful academic year. So this past July 31st, we went to our Englewood Neighborhood Center and our Dover Shores Community Center and provided hundreds of backpacks with supplies for our community children so they could start a new year well equipped. And there was all kinds of smiley faces and happy kids. Of course, you know, some of them picky about the color of their book bags, but that was fun. I'm telling you what, there's nothing better than seeing those kids smiling and being all joyful about getting ready for school. So, and I'd like to give a huge shout out to our Dover Shores Community Center dance team for the outstanding performance at this year's City Showcase. I wasn't there because I was out of the state, but for the fourth year in a row, they have won first place in their category with the dance theme featuring Formation by Beyonce. Which led to a standing ovation at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. So our kids are also shining when it comes to art. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Moving to District 3, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. And besides the birthdays we've had up here, we also want to recognize the happy 20th birthday to Lynx. Celebrating their 20th birthday. It's been a good part of our community and has been crucial to the development of our downtown, so I appreciate y'all's leadership with that. Let me touch on a couple of things on the agenda. Thank you for your comments on A2, and I agree with you. It's one of those few moments in time that we get a chance to have an impact that will impact generations to come, and I'm really excited about supporting that. G1, Lou Gardens, we will have accepted a grant of $47,000 from the Orange County Cultural Arts. What's neat about that is that I had a chance, commissioners, if you had a chance to read through the minutes of Lou Gardens, we have been doing a lot of promotional work in the spring, and we just finished up another set of promotions. But our attendance in April was 25,000 people more than a year ago, April. It's really neat to be able to see that, and we're getting ready to kick off another event in the fall with Lego blocks, so you guys get a chance to support that. People love the gardens once they go, and they want to come back. I'm honored to support the memorial for Lieutenant Clayton. I'm also honored to mention one of our supporters at the Christian Service Center has decided to take and dedicate the new Love Pantry at the new ACE school. One of the things that we do at the center. I want to just announce it here in memory of Lieutenant Clayton, so we'll be able to provide plenty of food for kids to go home, take home for them during the school year, so I'm really happy about doing that. A couple quick things in the community. First of all, it's Orlando Main Street's Restaurant Week. If you haven't had a chance to be part of that, it goes through August 12th. Go to orlandomainstreets.com for more information. District 3 residents, I want you to come and join me tomorrow evening along with the Orlando Police and the fire departments for our District 3 National Night Out Kickoff Safety Splash over at College Park Community Center. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be hamburgers and hot dogs, bounce houses. The OPD mobile kitchen will be there. We'll have just a chance for us to talk about back to school safety with kids and to be part of that. So please come check out your social media to get more information about it. And then later on in the month, I get a chance to work with our firefighters over at Station 3 for an open house over at Station 3 at next to Princeton Elementary at Elizabeth Street. So come on August 26th from 10 to 2 p.m. and get a chance to talk to our firefighters and see what we do. It's a great chance to walk around and get on a fire truck. It's my grandson's favorite thing to do, so it's a lot of fun. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot about that. You have to tell me about it? College Park Babe Ruth, Florida State champs are going to Cooperstown for I guess their World Series, right? And so I'm excited about that. Those are having a good time, those kids. And Babe Ruth is going to be, they're going to well represent us up in Cooperstown.
So Babe Ruth is 13 to 15. It's a little bit different than Little League, but my across the street neighbor is on that team, and Commissioner Stewart umpired in Little League for close to 50 years, I think, or some number of years.
Actually, 48.
He had the opportunity and did umpire at the Little League World Series in Cooperstown. I guess since you've been on council, right? Williamsport.
Yeah.
I mean, Williamsport.
So
how many years ago was that?
Now I umpired in 2005. So now I've umpired 48 years in a row.
It's pretty cool stuff. And the worst call he made in his career, he called my
son out. Yep.
Winning home run just resulted in undefeated season.
That's right.
And they lost the game.
It was a foul ball. It still was a foul ball. It still was a foul ball. No matter how many times you try, it's still a foul ball.
Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I want to thank Carol Adams Group for 13 years of sponsorship for our school supplies and backpacks at Reeves Terrace. It's been a wonderful partnership, and I'm glad to see that kids are getting supplies throughout the city. I think it's a wonderful thing to do. On item A2, I, of course, support the Renewable Energy Resolution. That is for 100% clean energy goals in accord with the Paris Resolution. And 4 degrees of climate change could be absolutely catastrophic for this planet. We have got to reduce our climate emissions. And I know this has become a political issue with climate change denial, which is ridiculous and dividing our community. And we've got to start working together. And the way that I've been working with more conservative people who don't believe in climate change to say, hey, you know what? I'm saving $80 a month on my power bill by LED lights and turning off my ceiling fans and doing things that everyone can do. And you know what? Don't you want to save $80 a month? So, you know, instead of arguing about climate change, if we could just get people to realize that they can save money, we can save the planet, and everybody can have something at the end of the day. Yes, so, yes, absolutely. Let's quit fighting over, you know, things that have become wedge issues, unfortunately, and start working towards saving the planet. Because again, 4 degrees, and we have, for over the past 20 years, it's been creeping up and up and up and been causing more and more catastrophic storms, and we have got to take care of the planet. And it's all caused by carbon emissions, which we can reduce. So thank you all for being here today, and it's very important for us to continue this work, even though, unfortunately, it's not being, I'll say this, the mayor doesn't like when I say this stuff, but it's not being done at the national level, so we have to provide leadership at the city level. I can be the bad girl, Mayor.
I'm okay with that.
And also on the agenda today, we have the Main Street Bicycle and Pedestrian Study, again, reducing our carbon emissions by encouraging people to bicycle and walk. I think that's a wonderful project. Thornton Park's storm drain agreement, item I3, adding art to storm drains, a wonderful project, again, encouraging people not to only put rain down the drain. And I, too, support Lieutenant Deborah Clayton designation, of course, and Deputy Lewis, wonderful public servants who were taken from us way too soon. And I also want to thank Senator Randolph Bracey and State Rep. Camilla Brown for championing that at the legislative level, you know, so that we could do that. Because, again, they have to have that state designation to be able to make those roadways named after those folks. So we want to thank our partners at the state level who helped to recognize these wonderful public servants who are taken from us too soon. And with that, Mayor, I will move the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, that adopts the consent agenda. Let's move quickly over to the CRA. We'll recess the City Council meeting, convene the CRA meeting. The first item is meeting minutes of the advisory board from June 28th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Second is approving CRA minutes from July the 10th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. All right, that motion carries, and there's no further business before the CRA, so we'll adjourn the CRA meeting and can reconvene the City Council meeting. That brings us to new business. At the agenda review meeting, we agreed to move item A2 to new business because we had a number of people that wanted to speak on that. A number of the commission members have already commented on A2, but a little over a decade ago, we launched an effort to become the most sustainable city in the Southeast United States. And I would say over the course of that decade that we have made instrumental, not just incremental, but huge strides in that endeavor. And as a policy, we have led by example. We have not asked our citizens or our businesses to do anything that our city government wouldn't do. So we have done energy audits on every building in the city of Orlando. We've put solar energy up on some different facilities. We have reduced energy consumption. We've started recycling programs,
Yes.
composting programs. I did a little composting this weekend, in fact, and my dog figured out she could get into the composter and get some of the things back. But in any event, we felt it was important that we lead by example, and one of the Commissioner Sheehan mentioned being not only green, but being smart and frugal. When we did the energy audits and invested in capital improvements in our buildings, we were paid for not only the capital improvements, but for half of the new police station from the energy savings. So I'd say that's green and fiscally smart as well. So a number of people are here today to speak on this, and you see the sea of green. That is not the Celtics or the Jets coming to town. It is representatives of the First 50 Coalition, and the First 50 is a broad-based coalition of groups in Central Florida led by the League of Women Voters of Orange County, and their members include the League of Women Voters, Ideas for Us, Organized Florida, the National NAACP, Florida Sun, Sierra Club's Ready for 100, Central Florida Sierra Club, ESA Renewables, Orange Audubon Society, Climate Reality, the Orlando chapter, Florida Citizens for Science, Tarflower chapter of the Florida Native Plant Society, the First Unitarian Church of Orlando, the Florida Renewable Energy Association, Citizens Climate Lobby, and the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. Commissioner Sheehan and I think some of the other commissioners alluded to the fact that our country, or at least this administration, has decided not to honor our commitment to the Paris Climate Accord, but a lot of mayors around the country have picked up the reins to say if we're going to do it at the federal level, then it's incumbent that we lead at the local level. And there's a lot of issues that we are finding that we have to be the point of the spear on, and climate change is an important one for many of us. And the mayors like to get together and say, you know what, more than 50% of the world's population now lives in cities, so we have to be the ones that are leading on the important issues that are of consequence for not just this year, but for decades and even centuries to come. So that's part of our program that we've had for the last decade. Chris Castro has been leading it for the last 5 years now, probably something like that. 3, seems like 5. So Chris, why don't you come up and introduce this item for us?
Thank you. Sir, can you also, because we have left behind those that can't afford certain energy programs, but putting the PACE and the SELF program in place.
We'll talk about that a little bit too.
Yep, most definitely. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners, and everyone here in the audience. As Mayor mentioned, over the last decade, we've been really trying to move the needle and trying to become one of the most sustainable cities in the country. Part of that commitment is looking at our energy sources. And currently, we're producing power that's primarily coming from fossil fuels, things that are impacting public health, and they're impacting the environment. And so part of our journey in becoming the sustainable city is figuring out how we transition from the energy that built our world to the energy that will shape the future of Orlando. So just a little recap, as part of our municipal sustainability plan, we had a goal back in 2012 to power the City of Orlando operations from 100% renewable energy by 2030. And that's a goal that we have continued to move forward on. We have invested in a lot of solar. In fact, most people don't realize, but the Lake Eola, all of the sea art sculptures as well as the Lake Eola fountain is powered 100% by solar power on a solar array on top of the, near the Relax Grill, right by the bathrooms there. In partnership, obviously this is a very important partnership with the Orlando Utilities Commission, who has really come out ahead as a leading utility, not just in the state of Florida, but around the entire country. We've been working with them on scaling utility-scale solar farms, on doing community solar arrays for people who live in apartments and in condominiums, who can't actually put solar on their rooftops, right? We've launched solar rooftop programs, solar rebates, and even financing initiatives. So you all know, OUC has a commitment to move 20% of their portfolio towards clean energy by 2020. So we're already very much on track as a utility to be one of the most dominant in the entire country as it relates to clean energy. And just recently, within the next month, OUC will be launching a 13-megawatt community solar farm on top of a retired landfill that will be one of the first in the country to do so as well. In 2010, we were recognized as a Solar America City by the U.S. Department of Energy, showing our leadership in that space, and recently designated as a Soul Smart community, one that's trying to look at the soft costs. How can we improve planning and permitting and inspections, which actually adds up to a significant part of the overall solar cost. So we're moving quickly. And as Commissioner Hill mentioned, last year we launched 2 major financing programs. One is the Property Assessed Clean Energy, PACE, and the other one is the Solar and Energy Loan Fund, SELF, financing programs. Collectively now has over $500 million of financing capital available to both homeowners and business owners who want to move towards a clean energy future. So building on this leadership of clean energy and renewable energy, over the last 10 years. This resolution before you is a move towards setting a goal for our entire city-wide to move towards 100% renewable energy by 2050. And there are several groups, as you mentioned, with the First 50 Coalition, who are here to express their support and interest. And I think it's important for us to hear why they're interested in moving in that direction. So with that, I'll yield to the floor, and we'll move forward.
Chris, can you...
How about if we have a motion first to put it before us?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ing, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Commissioner Hill.
Can you tell the general public about the initiative that we have right now in the Nichols apartment?
Yes.
When it comes to clean energy now on the west side?
Yeah, the City of Orlando is actually in partnership with the Village of Orlando, Bishop Wiggins, and Hope Church to now expand an affordable housing and mixed-use housing complex using renewable energy. We've been able to identify space on their land to put a 40-kilowatt solar array, and that will actually help reduce power bills for everyone in that apartment complex by about $10 per month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it goes a really long way when you're trying to make housing affordable, more affordable for primarily low, moderate, and working class families. So we're excited to use that as a showcase project, and the hope is that other affordable housing and even just traditional housing complexes look towards powering themselves from solar. Today, the power from the sun is cheaper to produce electricity than the power from fossil fuels, including coal and even natural gas. And what we want to do is maintain the affordability of our electricity rates. A lot of people think that just by going solar it's going to be more expensive, and that is not the case. We're actually going to be able to levelize our cost of power over decades, and we'll be able to maintain the affordability and the reliability of our power here in the City of Orlando.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ing.
Thank you, Mayor. Chris,
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your briefing to me the other day, but there's some things that we kind of talked about, and one being jobs and job opportunities and impact for jobs, specifically in the African-American community, and also an educational component for the African-American community so that we can understand a little bit more and even have greater buy-in and support of this particular initiative. So what about the job impacts for renewable energy?
Thank you for bringing that up. In Florida, just our state, solar jobs grew 10 times faster than the overall state economy in 2016. So this is just this past year. 1,700 new solar jobs were added to the state of Florida. And what we saw was 9% of those solar workers in Florida were from military veterans. We also saw a great amount of African American, Latinos, and working class individuals who are in this field, and even a growing number of women getting into solar. In 2015, we had 15% of the national workforce as women. Just this past year, that jumped to 26% of the entire country now moving with women into the field. And the solar industry in Orange County employed about 381 solar workers in 2016, which ranks 7th highest solar employer of all the counties in the state of Florida. So we truly see that this is about creating a clean energy economy. It's about creating jobs, a supply chain for potential manufacturing of solar, which I know we've been talking to a couple of companies. And in fact, the 3 largest solar companies in the country have now moved operations to the city of Orlando as of earlier this year. Solar City, now known as Tesla, Sunrun, and Vivint Solar. These 3 are the largest installers, and they saw the framework that you all have been laying out, and they said, Orlando's open for solar business. Let's go there. Let's hire jobs. Let's drive an economy. So, yes, very much about jobs.
Yeah, we also talked about solar and public housing areas because we were looking for so many ways that we can see solar being a part of the community. Yes. And bringing down costs as far as utility issues and that sort of thing. And then we talked about solar panels on top of on top of garages.
Correct.
So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the way that, and part of this resolution that you'll read into is it's tasking my staff, myself, Brittany Sellers, and my staff to basically put together a roadmap of how we're going to achieve this over the course of the next year. So by the end of 2018, we will be presenting you all with an entire plan of how to move towards 100% renewable energy, and we're going to be including the University of Central Florida, Valencia College, Florida Poly, many other national groups to help us get there. In order to achieve that, we have to look at this from a diverse perspective. We need utility-scale solar, the way that OUC is investing in, at large-scale solar farms. We need commercial and industrial-scale solar on top of buildings like the IKEA. I'm sure you all have seen the IKEA rooftop, which is loaded with solar panels, right? And then we need residential solar, without a doubt, on rooftops, on individual rooftops, and of course on wasted space, like parking lots. A lot of these flat lots can be covered parking, shading the cars, and at the same time producing power. And one of the interesting new pilots we did with OUC is they're exploring how to use solar on top of retention ponds. So the stormwater ponds that collect all of that stormwater, they just sit there. They're just literally sitting water bodies. Why not produce power on top of those? And we identified megawatts upon megawatts in the city of Orlando that we can produce power and mitigate a lot of the algae growth that we see in these ponds. So it actually ends up being a double win-win. So we are looking at really creative ways to expand solar in a variety of different applications, and certainly parking lots are one of those, and above parking garages are ones that we're also exploring as well.
You know, we also talked about why 2050. And you know, my concern, Mayor, because you were part of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, as well as the National League of Cities, and Orlando is a member city of the National League of Cities, and I think their goal is 2035. So why aren't we thinking about 2035? Because I think that's more ambitious for us, and I think it's more...
Part of it is you have to evaluate the sunk costs you already have in plants like the Stanton plant. So when you spent
well, you know,
close to $1 billion in energy manufacturing plants, you can't just take them offline without getting the lifetime cost out of them. But we have goals that when those become obsolete, they aren't going to be replaced with coal-fired or oil-fired plants. They'll be replaced with, might be solar, but who knows in 20 years what we're actually going to have technology-wise. And on the economic argument versus the environmental argument, Chris said there's going to be solar jobs, there's going to be renewable energy jobs of all sorts, but I can guarantee one thing, we won't produce one single coal mining job or oil producing job in the city of Orlando, right?
Yep. So I think to answer your question quickly, I want to mention that 2050 is what the United Nations and the Paris Climate Agreement has called upon cities and countries around the world to decarbonize their energy mix, right, by mid-century, by 2050. I do think by setting this goal now, it's going to send market signals into the private and public sector that this is where we're headed. And in my opinion, I think it's going to get there much quicker than 2050. Now, if we want to revisit this in the coming years and bring it back and maybe move it from 2050 to 2035 based on the growth, that's something that we might be able to do. But I think right now we're comfortable in saying that by mid-century, we can and will move towards 100% renewable energy, and that's a bold move. Not many cities in the country of our size have made that commitment. The city of Atlanta, as Mayor mentioned, is one of our partners in moving towards a sustainable Southeast. They have also committed towards 100% renewable energy. So we want to follow suit and make that happen.
Well, and I think, again, following suit with the National League of Cities as well as the U.S. Conference of Mayors, 2035 gives us great momentum to really push towards that particular year. And I think it really puts us right in line with those that we do support already. And, Mayor, I think this is very ambitious for us to do this. And I think we should have Chris and his staff be ready to just get us to 2035.
We'll make sure that our plan addresses the 2035 date.
Well, I want the ordinance to address
Well, know
2035.
that our goal for the city of Orlando, or for the city government services, is 2030.
Correct. Correct. So our city, municipality, operations will be by 2030, and that's coming well before the 2050 date for citywide. It is something that we're prepared to move forward either way. I truthfully think the innovation in the energy sector is moving quicker than any other industry in the world. And 3 years ago, a solar panel was 20 to 30 times more expensive, or % more expensive than it is today. And we're seeing energy storage coming online to where in the future we're going to be able to store the power of the sun to be used 24/7, 365, and that will be the game changer that will unlock the clean energy revolution. And we're paying very close attention. We're actually looking to pilot energy storage with the city here in the near future. So.
Yeah, and the last thing that I have, Mayor, is I want to thank Chris Castro for his leadership, as well as Sarah Isaacs. She's been contacting me via email, running to me in front of the elevators and that kind of thing. So she's very determined. And also Beverly Neal, the Orange County branch president for the NAACP, because she called me to converse with me as well and seek some of my information and advice. So this coalition is really great that we're doing this, and good to see you, Suzanne. But this is a great effort.
This is just the beginning.
I do support this 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. On the same lines, on a different note, but very related to it, is something that we were discussing this earlier. We need to also make sure that we fight, as we're fighting to move ahead with sustainability, we also have to fight to maintain our home rule. Because I'm afraid that the state may come over and preempt anything else that we may try to do for our community. So we need to make sure we educate our people in our city, and we teach them what home rule is all about and how we should maintain our government being decentralized. We need for our city to do what is right for our city, and we don't need people that may not have the experience that they need to have in order to rule or legislate for our communities in Tallahassee, telling us how to do our business down here. We need them to be allies, not being centralized over there. So just wanted to put that out there, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so we have about a little over 20 appearance request cards, and I'm just going to let you know that I predict, although I don't know, a 7-0 vote up here. So hopefully you have a game plan. Everybody that wants to talk can talk. I learned a long time ago that even if everybody's supportive, they're very passionate about it and they want to talk. So if everybody wants to use their full 5 minutes and everybody does want to talk, I'm willing to be here, because it's actually kind of fun when everybody's for the thing you're doing instead of wearing the other color shirts and they're coming up to complain about it. So we'll bask in the glow also. But if you have a game plan and somebody just wants to say I'm from a certain organization and I'm supportive of the initiative, that's okay too. So I'm going to call 2 or 3 names in a row so that you'll be ready to be in the queue. And Sarah, you're first up, Sarah Isaac. And then I have Michael Cohen and Joshua Bailey.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Isaac. I'm Director of Partnerships for the League of Women Voters of Orange County. Earlier this year, I began reaching out to other organizations in this community to see if anybody was interested in perhaps forming a coalition to push for sustainability in Central Florida. And I got one enthusiastic yes after another, and the result is what you see here today, which is the First 50 Coalition, the folks here in green, who represent a broad array of not just environmental groups, but also civic groups and faith-based groups. And I want to thank you. I want to thank the City Council for your leadership on sustainability. As we've heard today, you've done a lot. We're actually going to expect a lot from you in the future as well, just a heads up there. I see this vote as historic and a first step towards what we can do in leadership on the national stage. So in addition to my work with the League, I am a 25-year resident of Orlando. I'm the mother of 3 native Orlandoan young adults, and I'm an executive with a small business. My work takes me to cities across the nation, places like Dallas, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, and at least once a month I have a conversation with folks that I'm in professional partnership with that goes something like this, and this is me. No, really, Orlando's a cool place to live. It's a hard argument to make. And for me, as a business executive, what that means is that it's hard for me to recruit young talent to my business, and we are hiring. So it's something that I would like to be able to bring folks here. And for me as a mother, it means that it's going to be hard for me to convince my young native Orlandoans to continue to be native Orlandoans and sink their roots here. But today, what you are doing here is putting Orlando on the map. I think that you are sending a signal across the nation of the kind of city Orlando wants to be. We're a young city. I've lived downtown for 30 years. I've seen how far we come, and I know how much farther we can go. So I want to applaud you for sending this message nationwide, sending this message that you care about the planet, your people here, right here in Central Florida, and the economy, because that is what we'll be doing, is powering a green economy. So thank you very much for leaning into the future.
Thank you, Sarah. Michael Cohen, and then Joshua Bailey, and then Marjorie Holt.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I'm Michael Cohen. I've been a resident of the city for 31 years. I live in Wedgwood, Commissioner Gray's district. I'm representing FL Sun, the group that does the co-ops for solar. And FL Sun has put up more than 4 megawatts of solar in the state of Florida in less than 2 years. Orange County's 3 co-ops account for 40% of that. Your constituents are behind this. And Orange County government is funding 2 more co-ops next year. So it's going to continue. Now, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and if you know anything about Pittsburgh, there's steel mills, or there were steel mills. The sky was red at night, it was dirty, it was smoky, people covered their sofas in plastic so it didn't get dirty. The weather forecasts had air quality warnings. Don't go out, kids don't play outside. In the 60s, there was a woman named Michelle Madoff, and she formed GASP, Group Against Smog and Pollution, and she pushed the local governments to clean up the air. And eventually, she was on the city council there. I got married in 1980 and moved to Michigan. The auto industry and the steel mills in Pittsburgh and Detroit were collapsing. Closed plants in both places. Then I moved back to Pittsburgh, and the clean air became a quality of life issue. And now graduates from Carnegie Mellon and the University of Pittsburgh are starting spin-off things from their research, and those office buildings are now where the plants, steel plants used to be. HGTV has actually done shows about millennials remodeling homes in neighborhoods where Polish steel workers lived when I was a kid. Uber is actually testing their self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. Detroit went bankrupt. They're still waiting on the auto industry to come back fully. Huge areas of vacant land, empty houses. It's an attitude. We're not asking you to spend any money right now. It's an attitude. The city cares about the environment, just the way homeowners should care about cutting the grass, painting their wood, picking up trash. If they don't do that, the neighborhood deteriorates. We want you to do the right thing. And when you pass this, and I know you all are in support of this, take a picture, a celebratory picture. You'll get a lot of likes this week, but in 2050, our great-grandkids will go to the History Center and see that picture and go, ah, the leaders then cared about us. Thank you.
Thank you. Joshua Bailey, Marjorie Holt, Mary Dipboy.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Joshua Bailey, and I'm here as an individual, but I'm a member of a lot of local groups. I'm a member of Citizens Climate Lobby. I'm on the Student Sustainability Advisory Committee at the University of Central Florida, and I'm a member of the Central Florida U.S. Green Building Council. It makes me very proud to say that I was born in Orlando in 1991, and ever since then I've been a resident of the surrounding areas. Really, I'm just here to thank you and really say that leadership at the local level, like Greenworks, this renewable pledge, your involvement in the Central Florida Battle of the Buildings to reduce energy consumption, all these things really encourage everyone in the area, including young people like myself, to promote and internalize values of sustainability. So I want to thank you for leading by example. I want to congratulate you, and I want to urge you to keep pushing for sustainability and keep kind of paving the way for this transition to the new economy based on clean energy and low carbon intensity. Thank you. You're making us all very proud.
Thank you. As Marjorie comes up, do we have any students that are here, not for the Green Initiative, but just because their professors making them be here? Anybody?
Not today? Wow.
Where? Ah, right here?
Students, yes.
Okay, students. Right. All right, Marjorie.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, by the way, students.
Yeah, it's nice to see the young folks here, seeing what we're doing. Yes, I'm Marge Holt. I'm the Conservation Chair for the Sierra Club Central Florida Group, and I've been at that a number of years, and I'm just so pleased to be here today. This is such an important decision that you do locally. It's one of those act locally, think globally type things. So, and I'll just make it short. You know, today Orlando becomes America's 40th and Florida's 3rd city to make a commitment. Sierra Club's Ready for 100 Clean Energy for All campaign, and Sierra Club Central Florida, and we applaud, I'm a little bit off here, but anyway, our group applauds the initiative of Mayor Dyer and the council to make the world's most popular destination a world leader in sustainability. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mary? And then Michelle Suarez afterwards.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary DuBois, and I live at 938 Gulfside Drive, Winter Park. But I'm here today because I'm the first solar energy chair for the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs. And over a year ago, the board of the Federation passed a resolution, a position advocating for more solar energy. So I'm here to reassure you that there's a lot of folks out there all across the political spectrum who are in favor of more renewable energy. And so we're very excited to see that you all are contemplating this bold move, and future generations are depending on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Suarez, Phil Compton, Stephen Scheidel-Walter.
Good afternoon, commissioners, mayor, citizens. My name is Michelle Suarez with Organize Florida. We're a community-based organization that fights against social injustices such as environmental and climate-related issues. I want to thank you for having this item in your agenda today and for supporting it. You're really leading the way, something that we saw last month at the city of Kissimmee. As you may know, they joined the mayor's climate agreement as well as passed a resolution towards 100 renewable energy. And they really mention you and your efforts. So you're really leading this, so I thank you for that. So when we talk about a transition towards renewable energy, we know that this is the economy of the future, and it is our only alternative to create a safe and clean planet for future generations. I also would like to ask you not only to support this resolution, but also put social equity at the forefront of all of your efforts. So, transitioning towards renewable energy won't necessarily ensure that everyone has access, right, to these, especially marginalized communities. Also, when it comes to jobs, as you were mentioning, Commissioner Inks, we want to make sure that it is low-income people that have access and opportunity to this new economy. So we need a transition, yes, towards renewable energy. Most importantly, we need a just transition that doesn't rely on the exploitation of the environment, gentrification of people of color. So we really have an opportunity to be innovative, and as many people have said, to leave a legacy for the future generations. Just one more point, just to make you aware, natural gas, quote unquote, frack gas, that's not renewable energy. That's actually a fossil fuel that is the process of it is very dangerous. So let's make sure that we're moving towards solar, wind, and other sources that don't include natural gas. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil Compton, Steve Shildwater, and Carol Davis.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. I'm Phil Compton. I am the staff person for the Sierra Club's Ready for 100% Clean Energy for All campaign for Florida, and I want to congratulate the city for being a leader. Now, as Ms. Holt said, you may be the third city in Florida to pass this type of resolution, and you may be the 40th nationwide, but you are going to be the most famous city in the world, and the whole world is going to look to Orlando for its leadership and look to Orlando as the kind of place where they want to do business. And in fact, as Chris was telling you, they already have. Just wait. You're going to be inundated with requests and inquiries from all sorts of businesses. St. Petersburg was last November when they became the first city in the South to pass this type of resolution. So I hope you're ready for new jobs and new business growth in the type of industry that you want to see. I also want to applaud your initiative in already setting up the PACE and the SELF programs. As Ms. Suarez just said, it's very important that this work for all, because if we're going to get to 100%, everyone has to have an energy efficient home. Every business has to have a very low or no power bill, and we can do that. I've worked for the last 5 years in St. Petersburg's Sierra Club office, where it is a net zero building. In fact, we're so efficient, we get money back from Duke Energy for the solar power that we put back into the grid, and you can do that. But the SELF programs and the PACE programs are very important. St. Petersburg, which I said just passed its resolution in November, they just adopted SELF last week. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for showing the world the way that we are all going to grow our economies and save the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Steve and then Carol. Okay, Steve, who are you with? Okay, thank you. In support, right? Okay, Carol, followed by Justin Vandu Boric. Carol, you're up.
Okay. My name is Carol Davis. And
Carol, pull your mic down just a hair.
Yeah, I'm a little shorter. Hello, my name is Carol Davis, and I am a co-president of the League of Women Voters of Orange County. And I'm here in support of the commitment by the Orlando City Council to become 100% renewable energy. Who we are. First 50 is a broad-based coalition of groups in Central Florida that believe clean energy and sustainability create the foundation for vibrant communities now and for the future. We believe the Orlando City Council can and should lead the way on the regional, state, and national stage by committing to 100% renewable energy by 2050. What we want, a unanimous commitment by the city leadership to the goal of 100% clean and renewable energy in the next 33 years, as well as the concrete policy steps it will take to move our city forward toward the future. Why 100% renewable energy? It's possible. Advances in technology mean renewable sources of energy are now a cost-effective alternative to fossil fuels, even without taking into account the hidden costs associated with fossil fuel pollution. It's clean. Renewable energy helps keep our air, water, and soil clean now and for the future. It's better for our health. Air pollution from fossil fuels harms the health of our community. Air pollution leads to chronic heart and lung conditions, including asthma and heart attacks. That means Orlando residents end up in the ER because of the dirty air that they breathe. It saves water. Fossil fuel power plants are water hogs. Fossil fuel energy generation requires copious amounts of precious fresh water, vying with agriculture businesses and residents for this increasingly scarce resource. It's the kind of city we want to be. Orlando is a young city that is a potential powerhouse player on the national stage. Committing to 100% renewable energy will help distinguish Orlando as the kind of place where creative, energetic, and forward-thinking people live, work, play, innovate, and raise their families. First 50 Coalition for a Sustainable Central Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Justin, and then Clayton Ferrara, and then Tony Usimi.
All right, thank you all. My name is Justin Vandenbroek. It's an honor to be here, Commissioners, Mayor. I'm a new resident to Orlando, Florida. I just moved here a few months ago from the San Francisco Bay Area. Lived in Oakland, really the clean energy mecca of the U.S. And you know, while I was there, I had the opportunity to develop about $500 million worth of solar infrastructure for the state of Colorado and the state of Nevada. And I traveled around the world to East Africa, India, Asia, and saw solar developments taking place all throughout the world. And, you know, one of the major reasons that I moved to Orlando is because of the political support and the enabling policies that I see here. I think Florida is an incredibly exciting state. We don't actually extract any of the electricity that we produce, yet we're the second highest producer of electricity in the state. So we have an immense amount of opportunity to transition to a clean energy economy, right? But I'm only one of 250,000 solar workers in this country. And our industry has been growing year over year by 20% for the past 5 years. I mean, it's remarkable. And you know, when you think about the opportunity that the industry has for employment, you got to question, what is the economic impact? And in 2016, our industry added $84 billion to the U.S. GDP. Actually, in Florida, we added about 1.5, compared to California, about 25 billion. It's kind of fascinating, actually. We're the Sunshine State. We only have 8,000 solar workers in Florida as opposed to 100,000 in California. So we have a lot of opportunity, but I see in the eyes of the people in front of me and the leadership with your team that we can get there. We can really make the Sunshine State shine. And I believe that with this policy, we're going to have to lead, right? Our mayor, you are a commissioner on the Orlando Utility Commission. You hold a position there. OUC, in their most recent site plan, where they plan out the next 10 years and they submit it to the Florida Public Service Commission, their regulators, they called for a 72% increase in coal generation. From 36% of our portfolio right now is coal, they want to go up to 82%. So we need to make our voice heard and ensure that we're pushing the needle. Right now, as great as OUC is, and I truly believe in the people there, we only create 0.1% of our electricity in Orlando with solar. And their 10-year site plan calls for an increase to 0.3%. We have our work cut out for us. That plan is updated every year, and things can dramatically change year over year. Just because you made one goal one year doesn't mean the next year you can't update it, and you can't make a genuine increase in your renewable energy portfolio. So I'm honored to be here. I applaud your efforts. I'm so happy to be part of the Orlando community. I'm just blessed to be with these people in this room right now. So I want to thank you all for your leadership, and I'm excited about, you know, one day buying a home here and helping you all reach 2050.
Clayton, and then Tony, and then Dakota Lowe.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Wonderful for me to be here. Clayton Ferrara, representing Ideas for Us today. I'm the Executive Director. This morning I woke up and looked at my cell phone and watched the wonderful live stream of the opening of the time capsule that was inside of the Confederate statue that was moved. And I thought to myself about the world that these people experienced when they sealed up that time capsule a little over 100 years ago. They would have had no idea that on a cell phone I would be able to look, seeing live, transmitted by a satellite orbiting the Earth in outer space, beamed directly to my hand as I'm laying in bed. And we think to ourselves, now, today, where will Orlando be 100 years in the future from now? Well, I'm very happy that everyone here is on board with knowing that our economy and our fuel won't be coming from fossil fuels. There's no place for that in the future. And your vote today is a big part of that. But you also have to understand that the world that we'll be facing 100 years from now depends on us of making these types of commitments and strengthening them. This is an extraordinary first step, but we have to be conscious that there's going to be many other opportunities to push forward the goals of the city to stay under 2 degrees Celsius. After all, we want to make sure that 100 years from now into the future, we have these wonderful technological achievements just like what was witnessed today. So thank you so much. Of course, I'm in full support of this and really look forward to helping you all meet those goals. Thank you so
Clayton,
much.
Just one thing.
Yes, sir.
I will point out that we opened that time capsule at 10 o'clock.
That's right. It's a late night last night, yeah.
Okay, didn't start too early.
Thank you. That's right. I'm sure, I may have been up later than you, but who knows?
Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you all.
Okay, Tony, then Dakota, and then Desmond Pressey.
Mayor, he worked late last night.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Real late.
Hi, good afternoon. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, happy birthday. My name is Tony Buscemi. I am the chapter leader of the Orlando chapter of the Citizens Climate Lobby, and I'm also a member of the First 50 Coalition that Sarah Isaac spoke about earlier. I am proud to say that I was raised here in Orlando, and Commissioner Ortiz would be interested to know. I went to Dover Shores Elementary and Stonewall Jackson Middle School. That was 30 years ago or so. A lot has changed here in Orlando during that time, and I think we can all agree we've gone through some growing pains. We've seen a lot of things made a lot better during that time. But we've been trying to struggle with what we want the city to be. And I'm a big advocate that if you're going to do it right. Go big or go home, right? So you don't want to just grow. You want to grow smart. You want to grow innovatively. You want to grow in a sustainable manner. And I think that we can do that here in Orlando. I'm almost certain of it. I read an article a couple months ago saying what a great city Orlando is. And they mentioned that spending time in Orlando is kind of like spending time in one of the cities in the Northwest. And that's actually a great thing to be, if you think about it, because Seattle and Portland, Denver, San Francisco, those cities are part of the new economy that we keep hearing about. They're at the forefront of technology and sustainability. And I'm going to use another cliche. If you build it, they will come. That is what happened in those cities. They put together a framework of progressive thinking, not politically progressive thinking, but just thinking kind of outside the box, forward thinking and innovative thinking. And we've seen what happened, that they brought in Microsoft and the Intels and other technology type companies, and we can do the same thing here in Florida. And we've already seen some really great things here in Orlando. The mayor's GreenWorks program has been great. We're seeing more solar out at Stanton and out at UCF. And I think that your vote in support of this resolution is just the natural progression of the GreenWorks project. So I want to thank you for your votes today, and thank you much.
Thank you. Dakota, then Desmond, and then Margaret Stewart.
Hello. Am I close enough? My name's Dakota Lowe. I'm a resident in Ocoee, Florida, but I grew up in the Orlando area, and then I attend the University of Central Florida. I'm mainly here today on behalf of my little brother, Hudson Lowe. He's spoken to you all a few times, and he actually passed away about 2 weeks ago now. He was incredibly passionate about renewable energy and would be here today in favor of this resolution and would be more than proud of all we're doing here. Also on behalf of my family, the friends of mine, the friends of Hudson's, and the next generation of leaders, we understand the work that needs to be done, and we're more than ready to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our condolences.
Yes, absolutely. Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Desmond Pressey. I'm an energy consultant with Vivint Solar, and I'm also here in support of Ideas for Us. I'm a native Orlandoan, actually born not too far from here, down at Arnold Palmer Hospital. So I was born and raised here, and growing up here and going through college, I actually wasn't sure if this was the place that I would see myself returning from my career. But now that I've seen the changes that we're going through and being part of the rapidly growing renewable energy industry, I've never been more excited to be here in Orlando. One of the most beneficial things I see about the industry is its accessibility. Just for example, at our office with Vivint, we have people of various different ages, backgrounds, educations that are all able to do the same job together. And if you look at a broader scope in the United States, only 33% of solar jobs required a bachelor's degree or higher. So that speaks more to its accessibility to many people to build a career. The opportunity in renewables is more than just spurring a growth in our economy. I really think it is about creating a more sustainable future for our planet and for our city here in Orlando. And when I think about the future, if I belong here, I think about the generations that have grown here. I think about my future kids, grandkids, and wanting to create an environment that they can grow up in that is clean and invest in opportunities that can continue to provide for them going forward. And I see that the support is here, and I'm glad to see that, and I thank you all for it. And by going forward with this plan, we're really living up to the name of being the City Beautiful. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Mayor? Excuse me, sir. I wanted to ask you a question about volunteer. Desmond, can I ask you a question, please? Would you be willing to meet with staff or our recreation department to go throughout our community centers here in the city of Orlando to tell minority youth about the possibilities of being a part of this movement and what it's done for you and how you got there, since you were born and raised here?
Yeah. Nothing would make me happier than to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we can, Walter, can you get his information for me? Oh, Chris. Yes, Chris.
Okay, Margaret Stewart, James Coffin, Pete Dunkelberg.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you so much for your time today. My name is Margaret Stewart, and I'm on behalf of our future generations, those who can't come today to speak for themselves. This city has an amazing track record on not only considering the needs of our current citizens, but also taking into account our future generations, and I really hope we can continue that today. I'm here to ask you to adopt this resolution not only to provide economic opportunities and a sustainable habitat for our current citizens, but also to ensure these benefits for those who cannot currently speak for themselves or for their own interest. As President Theodore Roosevelt said way back in 1916, our duty to the whole, including the unborn generations, bids us restrain an unprincipled present-day minority from wasting the heritage of these unborn generations. The movement for conservation is essentially democratic in spirit, purpose, and method. As we see, this duty to our future generations was really established quite a while ago, and it's something that Orlando has previously prioritized. As Pope Francis proclaimed during his 2015 visit, this is a problem that can no longer be left to our future generations. When it comes to the care of our common home, we are living in a critical moment in history. I'm here to ask you to be on the right side of that history. I'm asking that you adopt this resolution so that our amazing city can not only show everybody else how it's done, but also will renew this commitment to our future generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor and Commissioners, my name is James Coffin. I'm the Executive Director of the Interfaith Council of Central Florida, which has representatives from the Baha'i, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and Unitarian Universalist faith traditions. Now, needless to say, with such diversity, we disagree about a lot of things. But one area where we have strong agreement is our human responsibility for Earth stewardship. The Baha'i writers say that the concept of world citizenship, prudent stewardship of the earth, and the interconnectedness of all things is the essence of the Baha'i faith. Buddhism likewise emphasizes interconnectedness. The health of the whole is inseparably linked to the health of the parts, and the health of the parts is inseparably linked to the health of the whole. Christianity's Roman Catholic Church, speaking for itself, but also reflecting the perspective of much of Protestantism, states, "Our tradition calls us to protect the life and dignity of the human person. And it is increasingly clear that that task cannot be separated from the care and defense of all creation." Hinduism also recognizes a symbiotic relationship. The Bhagavad Gita states, "Propitiate or care for the elements of nature and let the elements of nature support you. Together, both of you prosper." Judaism's scriptures describe how God instructed Adam and Eve to oversee, literally to serve, creation. And for millennia, rabbinic tradition has supported a general prohibition against wanton destruction, wastefulness, and environmental degradation. The Muslim Quran says that Allah created everything, and He has appointed you guardians of the earth. In fact, we're going to be held responsible for how well we have taken that responsibility, because Allah will try you in what He has given you. Sikhs declare a human being needs to derive sustenance from the earth and not deplete, exhaust, pollute, burn, or destroy it. And aware of that sacred relationship between humans and the environment is necessary for the health of our planet and for our survival. The Unitarian Universalists state, all life is interconnected. We care for our environment so it may sustain life for generations to come, because those who are most impacted by environmental destruction are those with the least power. Creating a sustainable way of life in Central Florida is, in our view, just living a just and compassionate world. Granted such unanimity among the world's faith traditions, and David Williamson, who was here representing the free thought community, would say the same kind of thing. So even those who are outside of the faith community would be in complete agreement. It gives us an opportunity to advocate for government policies and individual actions that support the values just described. And the action that you're looking at taking today certainly supports that value, and the Interfaith Council of Central Florida certainly supports you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pete Dunkelberg, then Eric Rawlings, and then Sharon Hammond.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Pete Dunkelberg. I've lived in Orlando for quite a long time, not continuously, but I remember back when the big stores downtown were Ivy's and Dixon Ives, so it's been a while. I'm a member of the Board of Florida Citizens for Science. We strongly support this initiative, and all of us agree, and even though it's been said a few times, I'm going to say again, all of us agree that to make this work, it has to work for everyone. You know, if every house doesn't have energy from a renewable source, you know, if there are neighborhoods left out, we have not done the job. And there's also a lot of room for improvements, and things are going to happen in transportation. Bus system can be, although we have a good bus system, can be better, can have more routes, enabling more people to live a decent life without a car. Also, in addition, and aside from what we're doing, anticipate greater use of Uber or a similar service. A good many people will be realizing that they don't need to own an automobile if they think of transportation as a service. This will reduce the number of cars in town. This will help us quite a lot. And if you help the Uber movement along, this will reduce congestion in town and help us further. Keep in mind, as was mentioned a good bit earlier by one of the commissioners, Big Carbon has plans since around the 1980s, that when they understood the scientific situation. Their game plan calls for a plus 4 degrees centigrade increase. All this talk about somewhere around the neighborhood of plus 2 optimistically assumes that Big Carbon will not be able to carry out their game plan. It depends on us to make sure that they don't. They have plenty of buried assets underground to get us up to plus 4 and more. They don't want to write this off. It's on their books. They write it off. Their stock goes down. They don't want to do that. And everywhere, you know, as I think it's already been pointed out, you know, cities have a special role to play because there are things that are within our jurisdiction that no one can do for us. Tallahassee may be working on it, but I hope not. Now we have, let's see here. To make everything work for everyone, it may be more complicated than you think. And I'm glad Chris and some others are doing a really good job. The biggest cities in the world do not assume they have all the answers themselves. There is what they call a C40 coalition for megacities from around the world. This coalition helps them all and helps them work together and gives what they call intellectual aid, and the greatest cities are glad to have it. And we should look around and see what we can learn from other cities, not imagine we can figure it all out. Another thing, we need more job training for something like solar installers. I think they're just starting this in Seminole State College. Valencia College is kind of thinking about it. We need a strong program for training solar installers. We need to work on it here in Orlando and Orange County and get Valencia to help, and possibly something that can be done at the high school level. It's going to take a while. If we aim for 2035, we might not make it. We might make it by 2050. But if not something that is long term, we should get started right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Rawlings, and then Sharon Hammond, and then Luana Gelser.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Eric Rawlings. I'm the chair of the Orange Soil Water Conservation District, and I'm going to waive the rest of my time in support and thank you for your leadership. My birthday was Saturday, so if Commissioner Ortiz, the balance of my time, if you want to go for it. No, I'm just teasing. But thank you for your leadership, and I love being here to, it's great that we all can support each other from citizenship to leadership, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
And Eric, thank you for the work you do on the Soil and Water Commission, Conservation Commission. Sharon Hammond.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Sharon Hammond. I'm the Program Director for a program called the Hive Orlando. And for 4.5 years, we have been gathering every single month because community members really are interested in addressing the environmental issues that face our nation and our world. And they want to see solutions coming out of this, and they want to bring innovation. So I want to say on behalf of them and myself, thank you. The work that you're doing today will only have a positive cascading impact on Orlando, from increasing general quality of life to job growth right off the bat, and to creating an environment that fosters the innovation that is hungry to come into an existence right here in Orlando. So I look forward to seeing all of that growth, and thank you so much for your leadership in making this happen.
Thank you. Luana Gelser.
Mayor Dye, I'm Luana Gels. I'm used to giving my address, but no one else did. Do I have to?
No, you don't have to.
I saw something totally different. But Luana Gelser, I was watching this online and I noticed it, but not opposed to it at all. I believe we should do this. But my concern is, can the community of color, especially the ones who suffer from environmental injustice, make it these next 33 years? Can we make it? And my question to you is, yes, we can, but we must change our actions today. So, especially a person who's grown up in a community of color, I'm concerned to see all these individuals who I know some of you, and some of you I do not know. But this is what I want to say for those who cannot speak for themselves today. We've been in a battle to save our community, and this council itself voted against our community when it came to our wetlands. Has voted against us on many occasions because we're people of color. I hope not. But what I'm saying today is, for those communities, those individuals, who can we make it the next 33 years? And I'm saying, I'm looking at the past history of this council, and I'm hoping they're willing to change their behavior. Because if you change your behavior, we can make it. We can make it. So everyone said wonderful things, that this is great. But most likely, a lot of us won't be here in 2015. But a lot of us will be here next week, and hopefully the next 10 or 15 years. So if you're talking about making it stronger, I'm all for it. But I want you all to go back and look at some of the votes that have went against the community of color when it came to their environment and their needs to be protected by the city commissioners and the mayor. And I want you to also do a little bit more research. You might not want to hear this, but it was hard for me to get up here and say this. But if I don't take the opportunity to inform you of the truth that's what we're dealing with in our community, then I have not been the voice for the voiceless. But look at the Walter Hub study. This city ranked 105 out of 150, and it looked at the debt, but mostly it looked at sustainability and pollution. And if you have the time, take the time to drive by John Young and W.D. Judge and see what just happened to the wetlands, the head wetlands for the Wekiva Springs. And then you will ask yourself, can we make it these next 33 years? And I say we can, but we must change our actions. Thank you, Mayor Dyer.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to testify? That was the last card that I had on this particular item. Then discussion among commissioners. And everybody's had an opportunity to say quite a bit so far. Oh, one more? Okay.
It's my first time here. Just kidding. I was late, so thank you for letting me speak. Maria Bolton-Jobert. I just want to say thank you, and please consider this initiative. We need it. I'm pregnant. I don't know if anybody can tell. So hopefully I'll be around in, 2050. Right? But my child will, and we might still live in the city of Orlando, and it'd be really awesome to witness history today and then know that I'm bringing a child into what really will be a very, very positive future. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. That's a good ending.
So, Commissioners, I think we've heard from the public and those that are interested in this particular issue, and there seems to be a tremendous amount of support. So I don't think we really need to debate it. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries unanimously. Okay, so somebody suggested a picture. Anybody that was in support of this that wants to come up and stand in front of the dais, we'll stand and do a quick picture for those in 2050 that want to look back at the archive.
Put that in a capsule somewhere.
I've been looking. What about you, Pat? What's that? I've been looking. What about you? 2050. How are you?
Oh, hi.
All right, squeeze together and get friendly.
Get friendly. Hey, Mayor, tell her one of you can come out. That was just a joke.
Everybody ready? Ready here?
This is what democracy looks like.
Thank you.
Good to
Chris.
see you again.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you.
Chris.
So sorry for your loss.
Yes. That was hard. Wonderful.
No brainer for me.
All right, fantastic. All right.
The Americans, part of the Americans.
We still have additional city business we have to conduct, so thank you all for being here.
Open every day until half an hour.
Thanks. Okay, Madam Clerk, we have, looks like 4 ordinances left to do. They're all on hearings ordinances, second read, number 1.
Ordinance 2017-34, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located west of South Orange Avenue, south of West Harding Street, north of West Muriel Street, and comprised of 1.68 acres of land, more or less, from the MU-1 medium-intensity mixed-use corridor district with the traditional city and special plan, Orange, Michigan, overlay districts in part, and the R-3B medium-intensity development district with the traditional city and special plan, Orange, Michigan, overlay districts in part to the Plan Development District, providing a development plan and special land development regulations of the Plan Development District, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, permanent disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ings. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 2017-48, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to regulation of structures and objects of natural growth in the vicinity of Orlando International Airport and Orlando Executive Airport, amending Chapter 5, Chapter 58, Chapter 65, and Chapter 66 Orlando City Code to provide regulations for airport height zoning permits, the Airport Board of Adjustment, the proximity of sanitary landfills to the airports, and enforcement and penalties, further providing legislative findings, definitions, and for codification, amendment, severability, correction of scrivener's errors, conflict, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 2017-39, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located south of West Church Street, west of South John Young Parkway, east of South Cottage Hill Road, and north of Harold Drive, and comprised of 12.61 acres of land, more or less, from R-3B medium intensity development, R-1 one-family residential, and O-1 office and residential districts to the Plan Development District, providing a development plan and special land development regulations of the Plan Development District, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 4, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 2017-47, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the operation of unmanned aircraft systems, amending Chapter 5, Section 5.12, Paren 2, to remove Section 43.02, amending Chapter 8, Section 8.01, relating to the definition of aircraft, repealing Chapter 43, Section 43.02 of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida, reserving the section for future use, providing for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to adopt. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Hill. Is there anyone from the public like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. That concludes the official business of the Orlando City Council for today, August the 8th.